Welcome to Cooking Cheap, Easy, and Tasty Meals. Today I'm going to make a cinnamon swirled sour cream banana bread. Start off with butter, and we're going to add granulated sugar. Now this is golden granulated sugar, about half a cup. That was about half a cup of butter too, but that'll be in the recipe. And then we're going to add half a cup of brown sugar, packed. Okay, now we're going to whisk that together. And generally the objective is to get it to be smooth, but I'm just going to get it just basically mixed. I'm not going to go crazy about getting it smooth. If you're more comfortable doing it that way, go ahead. I think it works its way out. I've tried it both ways, and I don't think I get that much variation. I think it might be a little smoother if you beat it longer, but that's pretty good. The next thing I'm going to add is, and by the way, one thing you want to do is get rid of the lumps in the sugar. I'm going to put the sour cream, and it's half a cup of sour cream, which I'm going to have to try and do a little bit at a time to get it out of the container. Okay, there's a quarter cup. And there's the rest. We're gonna mix that in, get that nice and smooth. Just a little brown sugar in the whisk. Got to work it out. Okay, now we've got that. The next thing we want to add is our eggs. We're going to put in 2 large eggs, one at a time. I don't know that it really makes a difference whether you do it one at a time, but I'm going to do it one at a time. Half the things I read say it makes a difference, and the other half don't. So we're going to do it one at a time. So just to be safe, I'm going to go ahead and use the cup that had the butter in it, just to make sure I don't get any eggshells. And I am going to go ahead and do them both at the same time. It'll be fine. All right, Now, I am going to get a spatula and scrape that down a little bit just to make sure I'm getting it into the mixture well. Yeah, it looks like everything's really down in there already, so that's good. All right. Give it a few more stirs. Now, the next step is going to be to mash the bananas. So I'm going to put those right there. And I am going to get another bowl and mash my bananas. Now, I didn't have ripe bananas, so I set the oven to 350 degrees, and I put the bananas in it for 10 minutes, and now I have nice brown bananas, which is a way of, if you don't have ripened bananas, honestly, I think ripened bananas are better, but I didn't have any, so this is the way I'm going to do it. And it makes them nice and soft, and it does make them sweeter, so it seems to accomplish the same thing of just letting them sit and ripen. When I've used them like this in the past, they come out fine. Sure is easier getting them out of here this way, too. All right, so, okay. Now, I'm going to do the same thing as I did with the whisk. I'm going to whisk. Get these nice and smooth. You don't have to be crazy with this, but you just want it to be no big chunks left. All right, there we go. So now I'm going to take this and put it in here. Now I'm going to mix the bananas in with the sour cream and butter and everything, so we have the wet ingredients done. Now, at this point, I'm going to pull this out and go back to my spatula. The next thing I'm going to add is the flour. Now I realize I'm supposed to take a bowl and mix that all up separately. I'm not going to do that though. I'm going to take my 1.5 cups of flour. There's the first half cup. Second half cup. Okay, now that's a total of 1.5 cups of flour. Now to that I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of baking soda and a 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. Okay, that's about 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. And I am going to put in a teaspoon of cinnamon. A heaping teaspoon, so it's probably 2 teaspoons. And then I'm going to mix those together. You could do this with a beater or with a spoon, and it'll work just as well. I probably could have gone ahead and used my whisk, but I want to do this a little gently. Trying not to overmix it. Looks like it's just mixed. There's no flour left over. Okay. Now, the next thing is I've got a prepared baking dish, and basically all I did was I put a little oil in the dish, a little parchment paper on top. Okay, I am going to put the batter into the loaf pan. And I'm going to start off by putting just a little bit at the bottom, maybe about 1/4 of this total bowl. And then I'm going to spread it out a little bit. And I'm going to put some of the cinnamon mixture in. I'm going to take a knife and try and spread it around a little bit, just to get it all over. And now I'm going to put another 1/3 of it or so back in here and spread it. Again, put some more of my cinnamon mixture. And stir it around in the batter. And then put the rest of the batter in, and I'm going to put the rest of the cinnamon mixture on top. So this will give us a cinnamon swirl banana bread. And put the rest of the mixture on top. And again, I'm going to swirl it around with a knife and see if I can get it spread out. Just to get it all over inside the mixture. Looks pretty good. I'm going to put it in a 350 degree oven for probably about an hour, mainly until it's cooked internally, which will be about 200 degrees. We'll see what it gets to. But mainly I want it to be cooked so that when I stick something in the middle, it comes out clean. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, it's in the oven. Okay, I baked it for a little over an hour, but I pulled it out when the internal temperature got to 195 and when I could slip a knife in and it had nothing on it. See, it cracked a little bit, which is not surprising because it's pretty moist. I'm going to let it cool and then I'm going to cut it. Okay, the bread has had time to cool, so I thought I'd make a cut, take a piece off, and let's take a look at it. Yeah, not bad. Definitely cooked all the way through. Nice marbling of cinnamon. So that looks good. So let's taste it and see what I think. Nice and crunchy inside. Very cinnamony. Yep, I think that's going to work. But I'm going to use some of it to make a cinnamon crunch banana bread pudding. Anyway, I'm going to make that and we'll see how that comes out. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and give us a like. Thank you.